7.1 on the reproductive system. So we're just going to answer a couple of these questions. First of all, what is reproduction? Okay, so reproduction is the way that new individuals are made from their parents. Okay, so that's the definition of reproduction right there. So I'm just going to get it here, and I'll copy and paste it up to the, there it is there. Reproduction is the way new individuals are made from their parents. Okay, so that's the answer to part A. No bother. Okay, why is reproduction so important? Well, reproduction is essential for the continuation of each species of an organism. If reproduction didn't happen, the species would become extinct. Okay, so that's the answer to the next one. So I'll just copy and paste that up as well, so we can see it here. Nope, don't want that. Okay, so for part B, which is the question we're just answering right here, what you can see is it'd be if you just cancel out this part here, we basically get reproduction is essential for the continuation of each species of organism. If reproduction didn't happen, the species would become extinct, and humans are obviously no exception to this, right? So that's the answer to part B. What does sexual reproduction mean? Okay, so what does sexual reproduction mean is the next one. Well, sexual reproduction means that two parents are needed to form one offspring, or needed to form the offspring, not just one offspring, but the offspring. Okay, so there you go there, that's the answer to part C. Sexual reproduction means the two parents are needed to form the new offspring. D, what is a gamete? Well, a gamete is very simply sex cells. Okay, so it'll be the sperm in males and the egg in females. Okay, and there it is there. Name the male gamete and the female gamete. Well, no, that's not it. The female cell is the egg and the male cell is the sperm. So that's the answer to that question there. Okay, next one after that, explain what fertilization is the last question, that's F. The join of the egg and the sperm is called fertilization. So that's answer to part F. Alright guys, so that's part 1 done. We're going to use the diagram in the book to basically do this question. Okay, so first of all, what is A? Well, A would be the penis. So it's the penis here. You can see it's not pointing towards the tube, so A is the penis. There we go, penis for A. Okay, B is the testes, which produce sperm in the body. Okay, B, testes. C is we can see here is the sperm duct. So C is the sperm duct. Okay, and D happens to be the prostate gland. Okay, there we go. I just saw prostate there, it's spelled for me, and I spelled it wrong anyway. Oh, good times. Prostate gland. Okay. Next thing I need to do is give the obviously give the function of each one. Okay, so we have a penis here. That's the answer to part A. Passes semen into the female vagina. That's the function of the penis. B was the testes, which are used to produce sperm and produce testosterone. C, which was the sperm duct, which doesn't seem to be in this list, but I think we can give it up here anyway. The sperm duct is used to carry sperm to the penis. Okay, so that's what the sperm duct does, carry sperm to the penis, so you have to write that down as well. And then D, the prostate gland, which would be down here, produces part of the seminal fluid. So that's what D does. That's the functions. Now the functions is what do they do? Okay guys, next question we're on is 9.3. Label the parts A, B, C and D. Well, A we can see here is the fallopian tube. So let's hope we can fit it in here. Fallopian tube. Okay, and it collects the egg from the ovary and then transfers it down towards the uterus. Then we have part B, which I believe will be the ovaries, the place that produces the eggs. Ovary. And C we have is the uterus or the womb. Okay, that's where the baby holds the baby during pregnancy. And finally, D is the vagina. This is where they holds the penis during intercourse. Okay, so that is part D. Now, give one function of each of the labeled parts. So, fallopian tube was A. Its function is to collect eggs from the ovary, and it's also where fertilization occurs. B was the ovary, and its function is to produce eggs and to produce oestrogen. And then part C was the uterus. This is where the baby grows and develops. And part D is the vagina, and the vagina is where the penis is placed during sexual intercourse, and it's also the birth canal where the baby comes out of. Okay, guys. First of all, first question is what is the menstrual cycle? The menstrual cycle is the monthly series of changes the woman's body goes through in preparation for the possibility of pregnancy. That is A done. How many days are usually in the menstrual cycle? Well, I think they usually base off 28 days, but that varies from woman to woman, but 28 days is what they go for scientifically anyway. What is ovulation? Ovulation is the release of the eggs from the ovaries. So it's the release of the eggs from the ovaries. The ovaries. Okay, when does ovulation happen in the menstrual cycle? Well, ovulation happens in the menstrual cycle on day 14. Okay, so not always guaranteed to happen on day 14 on the money, but it's around day 14. You can see it here, okay? So day 14. Okay, next thing is what is menstruation? Well, if the egg, so example is if a woman doesn't get pregnant, the egg is not fertilized, the line of the uterus is not needed, and it comes away from the uterus and is removed from the body through the vagina. This removal of blood and tissue is known as menstruation, okay, or commonly known as the period. So that's your answer to part D. And now finally part E that was actually. And then part F is when does menstruation usually happen in the cycle? Well, it actually happens on days 1 to 5. So in between days 1 to 5. Okay. And now we're on to the next question, which is 9.5. And we'll have a look at that now in a minute. Okay, guys, so just quickly explain just a bit about the cycle here, okay? So on days 1 to 5, menstruation occurs. That's where the lining and the egg are expelled from the woman's body via the vagina, okay? From days 6 up to 12, the uterus starts building back up again, and the egg starts to grow, okay, and become mature. Then around day 13, the egg is released. So the egg is released either days 13, 14, or 15. It's in the fallopian tube, and it stays there for a while. Now, the deal is that sperm can last up to 3 days in the female body. So example is if somebody was to have sex on day 10 and they think that this is okay, this is not the fertile period, the sperm could live long enough to be present in the body on day 13 where the egg is released, and therefore you could conceive a child by having sex relatively close to that period. Okay, so if you aren't planning to have children, it's important to keep that in mind. Basically, the egg then travels down the fallopian tube, and the fertile period is from days 12 to 17. After this, the egg is said fertilization of the egg is rare, but not has happened. So once again, you gotta be careful pretty close out to your side that if you weren't planning a child, that you don't have unprotected sex too quickly on days 18, 19, or 20 either, because this could obviously, in some rare cases, can obviously produce a child as well. Some women might produce their egg later, and this is an exact clock, okay? So it varies from woman to woman. Then the lining stays built up, and if fertilization does not occur, then you restart the cycle back at menstruation. Now we've got a couple of questions here. What is meant by the fertile period? Well, here's the answer to part A. The fertile period is the period. The fertile period occurs during the menstrual cycle. This is the time during the cycle when fertilization can occur and female can become pregnant. When does it usually occur? Well, days 12 to 17. So I better say that properly. Day 12 to day 17 of the cycle. Okay. C. What is sexual intercourse? Sexual intercourse in most mammals, such as humans, is sexual intercourse occurs when the penis is placed in the vagina. That's done. D. What is fertilization? Well, fertilization is when it's the fusion of the sperm with the egg to form a zygote or zygote egg, a zygote cell or fertilized egg, whichever one you want to call it. It's the fusion of the sperm cell with the egg to form a zygote cell. A zygote cell is a fertilized cell. Okay. E. Where in the reproductive system does this happen? Well, it happens in the fallopian tube. Okay, and there we go. Okay, guys, next thing, what is an embryo? Okay, so let's figure out what an embryo is. Okay, so what happens is once the egg is fertilized, it becomes a zygote, and then it begins to divide. Soon becomes a ball of many cells. Some of these cells become the embryo. So we can say is an embryo. What is an embryo? It's is when the zygote cell grows into many cells, into more cells known as the embryo. The embryo. Okay, that's a difficult one to get right because it wasn't an exact definition in the book. Okay, so we can get rid of this one now. We've already done this one. Next thing, what is implantation? Okay, so let's have a look at what here it is here. Once the embryo arrives in the uterus about 9 days after fertilization, it attaches to the lining of the tissue that has built up in it. This is known as implantation. There you go. So that's the answer to part C. Might make it a bit smaller. There you go. Once the embryo arrives in the uterus about 9 days after fertilization, it attaches to the lining of the tissue that has built up in it. This is known as implantation. Or implantation is when the embryo joins itself to the uterus. Is another way of saying it. Okay, any way of saying that. Next one. What is the placenta? Well, the placenta is a mass of tissue that passes nutrients and oxygen from the mother's blood to the baby's and passes waste such as carbon dioxide from the baby to the mother's blood. Okay, so there you go. That is the placenta. Done for you. Basically all taken from the book, lads, so it's just a matter of being able to find it. Okay, what is amniotic fluid and what is an amnion? Well, if you look at the baby here, the baby has a lot of fluid around the baby to help protect the baby from any impacts or from the baby moving around too much. It's a bit like a water balloon. The amnion would be the balloon and the amniotic fluid would be the water that helps protect it. Okay, so the baby is protected in the uterus by amniotic fluid, which is contained within a skin-like membrane known as the amnion. So there you go. So what is amniotic fluid? A fluid that protects the baby. Okay, and then what is an amnion? Well, it's a skin-like membrane that contains the amniotic fluid. Okay, that's it.